Hello everyone, Joe Morton here, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Please hit subscribe, hit like, share this content with someone who you think could use this daily positive in so that positive can flow out, the positive kind of messages that people could use on a daily basis, and a daily cup of Joe, so to speak. So here I am. I am in a town in northern Italy called Treviso, and it's about 20 minutes north of Venice. Just sitting here on the street, been out for a little run, and I'm sitting on the staircase of Treviso Cathedral, a Duomo. You can't see it up there, but there's a Duomo, like a dome-shaped part of the church. This was originally constructed in the 6th century, and then totally reconstructed in 1768 or something like that. And so completely reconstructed to look more like what it is right now. But there's still a crypt here that apparently goes back to the 6th century, which I think I'd like to go for a little tour of that. But my point being, I want to say this is my message today, that life, the more time that I spend on this amazing earth, this rock circling the sun and hurling through the universe, the more I spend time here, the more I realize life is the series of moments and experiences that we have, and we can capture them, we can live in those moments, enjoy them, and build upon those moments, or we can let them pass. And like I said in a little short that I did, seize the moment, carpe diem, seize the day. Take advantage of these moments that come our way. Our son Nate happens to be in London, England for the summer doing a study abroad. And he had this experience where he's like, I want to go visit where my grandmother, which is my mother, was born and raised. She's since passed away, but she was born in this town, Treviso. And he wanted to take some photos. He's a photographer. He wanted to take some photos and get some shots of Treviso, some of these special places here, like my mom, where she worked at a pharmacy, and a home she grew up in, and also go to Venice and just the surrounding areas and meet some family members. Well, I decided, you know what? I'm going to jump on this. I'm going to jump on this opportunity, and I'm going to fly over here only for a couple days and experience this moment with him. And again, life is set up to we have the opportunity to take advantage of these moments and build on them, experiences, and seize the day, so to speak. So I did. And I've had a wonderful time. It had been 7 years since I've been here. And even then I was here on business, so it was relatively quick visit. But I'm seeing cousins, I'm seeing family members that I haven't seen in 7 years. And to reconnect. And again, like for example, I get to see the pharmacy where my mom worked so many years ago. Got to walk the streets that my mother would have walked. I got to run along the wall. This is a walled city. It's pretty cool. And I got to run along the wall in parts that allows people to walk on it. There's walkways. I got to run on there. I got to run through the streets and experience the cobblestone and walk on this cobblestone, run on this cobblestone, sit in piazzas and observe the people walking around and observe and kind of feel what it would have been like for my mother back in post-World War II, when she was living here during World War II and post-World War II, and to feel that and to be connected with family that I would not have been able to experience if I chose not to come. I met family members that are now aging like we all do, everyone, and to be able to take advantage of that moment. Let me give you an example of a moment. Well, first of all, being with my son. My son, Nathan, who I'm able to just walk the streets with, take photos of Venice and Treviso together with family members, introducing him to family members, making sure that he connects with those roots, and I have a fun, and here's an example of another personal experience that I had. It was wonderful. I have a cousin, Luca, who born and raised here. We are the exact same age, same height. We have similar personalities, very family oriented. He has 4 children, I have 4 children. And we both happen to have a love for cycling. Me being brought up in North America, him being brought up here in Italy, we both happen to love cycling. So he has like me, have multiple bikes, and I asked him, he goes biking every weekend. So I said, hey, let's go for a bike ride this weekend. Set me up on his bike, and we went for a ride. And we got to do something called Trecimi, which is a very, very famous ride here for the Tour of Italy, is what it's called, Giro d'Italy, Italia. And it's one of these crazy, crazy mountain climbs. And I got to do this with him. And it's very steep. For the last, 3 to 5 kilometers, it's pretty steep, probably 10 to 15% grades, a lot of switchbacks up to the top. And as I was going up, I had this almost emotional experience. It was emotional. While I was watching him ahead of me, he's a very strong cyclist, and I thought, here's this guy who grew up here. I grew up in North America, and we're together in the Dolomites of Italy. And it was beautiful. And then afterwards, we went to dinner as a family, and we had cousins and uncles and aunts, and I was watching my son interact with his cousins, whatever you're like, second, third, fourth cousins. I'm not quite sure how that works. I guess they're all technically cousins to me. I'm not quite sure how it works, but we're family. That's the thing. It's a bloodline. And how many times do we have moments? Because there was a time when I was like, no, I'm not going to do this. This is a lot of work to get there. It's a lot of money. And we make decisions, sometimes out of fear. It's fearful of this or fearful of that, whatever it might be. I'm not saying they're not legitimate concerns. I'm not saying they're not legitimate fears. But sometimes we just have to say, carpe diem. I'm going to seize that day. I'm going to seize the moment, and I'm going to run with this. And I'm going to create memories. And I'm going to seize the moment for those opportunities, for experiences. And they become life-changing. And again, kind of going to that thought that I have about the more time I spend on this amazing earth, the more I start to make decisions, and I look down the road and say, and whether it be a year from now or 10 years from now or 20 years from now, I'll look back on that and say, that was worth it. That was worth every dime. It was worth the time that it took. It was worth, if you want to call it sacrifice, I don't even want to call that sacrifice, to take the time away from whatever else needs to be done. Of course, I have family back at home, and that's important to me. My wife and my daughter and my other 2 children. But to look back and say, that was worth it. And I know that in a couple years from now, and if you can use this, I'm just going to throw this out as an idea. Because as I was going through the decision, it helped me to say, in 2 years and 10 years and 5 years, whatever it is down the road, will I have said, I should have seized that moment. I should have seized that day. And what can I do to make sure that I experience that? If that helps you, run with it, whatever it might be. And of course, we as humans have to make those decisions. We have to look at it, make a decision whether this makes sense or not, to seize that day. But I can tell you that when I've used this way of looking at things for many, many experiences, I've never regretted it. And I'm so grateful to have been able to do this. I leave tomorrow. I've got one more day here. Taking my son, we've got a couple friends who joined him for part of the trip. I'm going to take him back to the airport. They're going to fly back to London, and then I'll fly back to the United States. I can tell you, though, this has been a wonderful experience. And if that helps in any way as you're out making decisions for your next moment or experience in life, I hope it does. Thanks for joining again. Make it a great day. Ciao.